I found art, basically. I found art because I've been painting ever since I was little, but I didn't think it's something I would take on as a career because we all know in Nigeria here, nobody patronizes art that well. And a lot of our parents grew up in societies where art was not really appreciated. So it was difficult for me to really convince them, you know. I even wanted to study art, but they were like, so you want to go to school, come out and open a shop and write by your portraits here. So, I just had to opt for architecture instead. I think the most challenging part was that at that point, I told myself that if I fail in architecture, then I would have someone to blame for failing in life. Well, if I succeed, then it will look like, we've always been right from the start. You get, so that was really challenging because I was in 300 level when I decided that, that was the first time I traded on the internet. And I decided that I wanted to do art. And then I wanted to drop out from 300 level and switch to art. And I didn't mind starting from 100 level. That was how passionate I was, but my mom was like, if you really love me, you have to complete this course. And I just completed it. I think what fascinates people the most is that everybody thinks I studied art. So when they find out first that, he did not even study this, he's self-taught, then that brings like that special appreciation. And then I'm generally intrigued with details. So I think I got that from architecture a lot. I still do architecture because I design buildings for like family and friends. First of all, there comes a point in your life where you just want more. And even when you don't know what that is yet, you have to. So I think the first realization I came to was my first exhibition. First time I trended on the internet was in 2016. So I trended and I had my first ever exhibition in South Africa, Festival of Arts and Culture. And I didn't really know much about art then. And they were like, bring your passport, it's an all-expense paid trip, And I came and I went to South Africa. And I was selling my paintings for like 5,000 naira here in Nigeria. And I went there and I sold for like 3,000, 4,000 rand. And then a rand was 30 naira. So that was good money to me. So I decided that, I can actually build on this and come back and decide I want to do this. And that was when I decided, okay, I need to do a lot of research and understand my calling. My art takes a lot of study in the sense that there's a lot of anatomy into drawing the human face. Because what brings about structure is how light falls on a subject. So knowing textures, skin tones, and all those things is basically you just playing with light. And a lot of my characters are personal to me because they're family, friends, people in my neighborhood. I bring them to my studio, I take those pictures, and I tell their stories. You can imagine people in my community back in Port Harcourt, and I make paintings of them, and they see themselves hang in galleries in Paris, in London, and then they see people buy them for thousands of dollars. It's something special to them. So it takes a lot to be able to transform that story into something that other people can relate to. I'll be honest with you, when I started my career first, it was difficult breaking into the Nigerian market. And a lot of people would think that it's easy, but it's not been easy. When I started out, I was working with a lot of people. I was coming to Lagos on a Friday, going back on a Sunday, doing exhibitions and all that. But I felt like Nigerian market does not really favor the young, creative people. As at then, they were favoring veterans and people that, the people that they trust a lot. You get. So it wasn't really working out for me. And then I decided to focus my audience on the foreign market. And when you get that recognition, then the Nigerian market starts demanding for you because they think, okay, this is something of value now. So that's how it is. When I started first, a lot of Nigerian galleries told me I should bring money for them to show my works because I was a very, very unknown name in the scene. Well, I would say international galleries, basically, they work with talent mostly. They don't work with, you're a big name. They like big names too. Like if a big name come, no problem. But they work with local talent. They're people who are futuristic. A lot of Nigerian galleries always are about making quick money, because it's really hard here. And I have to be honest with you, it's hard in Nigeria. But with them abroad, there's a structure. So there's a developmental process of both the gallery and the artist, and they would like to work with you and actually see you grow and then increase your value. And a lot of people here in Nigeria buy art based on aesthetic and, just because they want to have the work. But abroad, people who buy works buy the work because of sentimental reasons, and they see it as an investment. In Nigeria, a lot of people don't know that art is an investment. That you can use art to take loans from banks. You can use art to appreciate your real estate values. And art of being in your house alone can be more than the value of the house itself. So because we don't know those things here in Nigeria, and the foreigners know it, they build on that, and that's why it's better abroad.
Well done, Cookie. That was great. Look at that.
Honestly, it made me more confident in my work, more confident in my style, because when you have people all over the world who really want your artwork or your painting and they are willing to pay for it, it just tells you that, okay, you're onto something and you should really stick to it and do it. And then for me, it's not just about that, it's also about kicking the door open for a lot of young people from where I come from to be able to pass through that door and achieve same thing. I'm taking on like apprentices. I have people who work for me in Port Harcourt to come to the studio. I take them on for 6 months, 1 year, because I also I did like a residency where I lived and worked with a veteran artist called Demas Wopo in Delta State for 6 months. He's like a very prolific artist in Nigeria. He's in his 80s. So I want to also give younger people that platform to be able to do that. Well, I have like really big dreams, I intend doing more exhibitions, having my solo show, probably hitting auction, selling for good prices, making it to Forbes at times under 30, influential creatives. I'm also thinking of opening my own gallery and having a residency space in my hometown in Port Harcourt where I can bring other people on and then put them, on the map and things like that. So those are the things I'm working towards. I would say the main purpose of being a creative on earth, the main purpose that we are blessed with these gifts is to be able to tell people stories and actually make a difference. There's a lot of inspiration around you. Every day you wake up, like different things are happening all over the world in different places, and that's enough inspiration for you. If you need to pick up vices for you to get inspired, then you should really check yourself. And then I would always say, like, know the kind of person you are. When you come to that point of self-realization on the things you can do and you can't do, the things you can take and you can't take, then you cut off like a lot of influences around you. That's just what I think personally. I don't really think that luck plays a huge factor, because the harder you work, the luckier you get. Look at it this way. If you throw a dice once, the possibilities of you getting a 6 is only 1. But if you throw that dice 10 times, the possibility of you getting a 6 is 10 times. So the harder you work, the more effort you put, the possibility of you getting that one breakthrough that would take things off the charts is high. And I'll just say to people that nothing happens overnight. I've been drawing since like 2014. And like I started doing gallery shows like 2019. And I'm just like beginning my career too. So nothing happens overnight. Behind every limelight story you see, there's a lot of work that had gone on like years and years. So don't compare yourself with anybody. You have your own track to run, just be on it. It takes me roughly 150 to 200 hours to make a piece. And there's a lot that goes on before the final. If I get to painting or drawing it, I select the model. Could be any random person, my friend, my family, somebody I met on social media. I'll be like, yo, I think you would fit this thing I'm looking to make. And I'll bring it to the studio, or I'll tell you, oh, do you have a picture, or you have a photographer that can take this picture for you, and then send me the raw file. And I would edit it, and I'll think of the background and stuff that will go with it before I start painting. I wouldn't really know, because I don't force creativity. I just let it take its course. Unless I have deadlines to meet, I just like let the work go on as long as it can.